They told you that you're just Mexican, but your DNA test came back and now you're confused. Let me tell you what those percentages really mean and why they tried to hide it from you. You took a DNA test. It says 45% Indigenous Americas, 30% Spanish, 15% African, maybe some Middle Eastern or Asian, and you're sitting there thinking, wait, I thought I was just Mexican? Here's the truth they don't want you to understand. Those percentages aren't just random numbers. They're a map of survival. That indigenous percentage, that's 10,000 years of your ancestors building pyramids, creating mathematics, domesticating corn, and surviving an apocalypse. That Spanish percentage, that's not white. That's the DNA of colonizers who couldn't break your indigenous ancestors, so they mixed with them instead. Let's talk about what Indigenous Americas really means. Your ancestors were Aztec, Maya, Zapotec, Mixtec, Purepecha, Yaqui, Tarahumara, civilizations that built cities larger than Paris when Europeans were living in wooden huts. They calculated solar calendars more accurate than anything Europe had. They performed brain surgery with better survival rates than Civil War doctors. They built water systems, floating gardens, massive pyramids aligned to stars. When Spanish DNA shows up in your results, that's not 500 years of peaceful mixing. That's evidence of colonization, violence, and your indigenous great-great-great-grandmothers who survived anyway. But here's what makes you absolutely powerful. You're still here. The Spanish tried to erase indigenous people completely. They banned the languages, destroyed the temples, burned the books, killed millions with disease and violence. Your indigenous percentage should be 0 according to their plan, but it's not. It's 40%, 50%, 60%, sometimes 80%. Know what that means? Your ancestors refused to disappear. Every single person in your indigenous lineage survived genocide, slavery, disease, forced conversion, discrimination, and still passed their DNA down to you. That African percentage? Those are your ancestors who survived the slave trade and found family with indigenous people who understood oppression. That Asian or Middle Eastern DNA? Manila galleons brought Filipino, Chinese, and Arab traders to Mexico for 250 years. They married into indigenous communities and became part of your story. You're not mixed up or confused about your race. You're the living proof of resistance. Your DNA is a recipe that colonizers spent 500 years trying to destroy, and you're walking around with it in every cell of your body. So next time someone asks, "What are you?" don't say I'm mixed, like it's an apology. Say I'm Mexican, which means I carry 10,000 years of